Hello loves, so welcome back to another declutter. Today we are tackling the powders and concealers. The last time I did this was January 2023, so almost 3 years, which is insane. It doesn't feel like it's been that long, but my drawers say otherwise. So we're going through every single powder, every single concealer. Grab a snack, or grab all of your snacks actually, because we're going to be here for a while. Get cozy and let's get into it and do a major declutter. Starting off with my number one loose powder out of every single powder in my collection. If I could only pick one to use the rest of my life, it would be this one. And that is Huda Beauty Easy Bake. I actually have 3 different colors, which is totally unnecessary, but I'm gonna go through each one, starting off with Peach Pie Easy Bake. What's nice about the Huda Beauty colored shades is that they're not too much. This one specifically is gonna give you that bright airbrushed look with a touch of peach. I mean, it's very, very light, so it's not going to be dark or orange on the under eyes, and I love the way this looks whenever I have on a more warm toned kind of blush. It makes everything look really cohesive and diffused. This is a very matte, super intense kind of powder, so if you have more combo skin like me, oily skin, this is going to be your number one. It's so smooth. That's why I always go to it, because it gives you that flawless under eye look. So Peach Pie for the win. Love this color. If I could only pick one shade though, it would be Pound Cake. For me and my skin tone, this works so nicely. I do recommend hydrating your under eyes beforehand because it is such a matte powder. It really is the best. So Pound Cake is probably my most used shade, but I also love Cherry Blossom because this has that very light pinky tint, which I love whenever I use pink blush. I'm gonna keep those 3 because they're my favorite. Another powder I really like is the one from Fenty Beauty. This one is also gonna give you that nice matte finish. It is specifically the super fine blurring setting powder, and this one I have in the shade Butter 03. I'm actually gonna give this one away and donate because it is brand new, but it's a beautiful powder as well. If you didn't like Huda, I would go with the one from Fenty. This also, I think, gives that nice blur, soft matte finish. Fenty Beauty also does complexion really well. With Fenty, the colors are gonna be a little bit different, like each of the shades versus Huda. I personally still prefer Huda, but I do like this Fenty powder. I think I have another shade in here somewhere, but I always go to Huda, so I'm gonna get rid of this one. Another great mattifying powder is the one from One Size. This is the ultimate setting powder, also very intense. In my opinion, I feel like the one from Huda is slightly more airbrushed, but this one from One Size is also very blurring on the skin. The pink on the One Size is also a little bit different than Huda. It's a little bit more pinky versus the one from Huda, which is slightly lighter. This is very matte, so it's one of those products that you also want to make sure you're using over top of hydrating products because it is so intense, but I like it because of how poreless it makes your skin look. Next up, Revolution Rose Baking Powder. I love the new packaging to this. If you tried it before and you loved it, you're gonna love it even more now because of the packaging, but I think the formula has honestly gotten a little bit better. So the cap is nice because you have enough room to pour it in here and put your powder puff in there and set your under eyes. You also have a little sifter and then a cap which closes, and it's really nice because it does prevent it from getting super messy. My powders always get very messy, but I do enjoy this because it is a nice mattifying powder. It's a nice alternative to the high-end ones I just mentioned, but it's not an identical dupe, but it's a nice powder at the drugstore for just under $10. This is also similar to the One Size where it is very pink, so if you like a super bright pink under eye, you will like this. It's intense, but it's really nice, and I do like this, so I am gonna keep. Another great loose setting powder at the drugstore is the LA Girl Pro Setting Powder. This is also nice and bright, and this one is in soft pink. However, the finish of this is going to be more on the satin side. So it's going to set down any creams or liquids, but it's going to give you a little bit of a pearly light glow. It's not like a highlighter, it's not too intense, but you're going to get a touch of radiance with this powder. So if you have dry skin or if you just like glowy makeup in general, you will love this powder. It is gorgeous. Keeping. Comes in another color too. I have it somewhere in here. I really love the Makeup by Mario Surreal Skin Translucent Powder, specifically the Soft Blur Setting Powder. This one is in 2 Neutral Light. This gives Huda Beauty airbrushed kind of vibes, but it's not as matte or drying as that one because it is a great powder, but it is very intense, like I said. But this one is going to give you that nice natural finish. So if you want that Huda Beauty blur, but you don't want that matte finish, try this one from Makeup by Mario. I think this is one of his best products. It is so nice and it looks great in photos. The Rare Beauty Loose Setting Powder is another one of their gems in my opinion. This is top tier. I like this because it also has a natural finish, but it's not too intense. It's very natural. It gives that second skin look, so it's going to set everything down without it looking too heavy, too powdery, cakey. It's a non-drying formula and it just has that true natural finish. I really like this on the under eyes as well because it's so seamless and it's a very finely milled powder, so really good. I like this. Next up, Kosas Cloud Set Translucent Setting Powder. This one is the Candy Rose Ultra Transparent, so it's the pinky toned one. This is for those of you who love glowy makeup. This will set your makeup down if you have any type of liquids, creams, but you're still gonna have that really pretty sheen to the skin. So if you're using a glowy foundation or skin tint or a glowy cheek product, but you wanna set it down so it doesn't feel sticky, tacky throughout the day, set it with this and you're still gonna see that glow coming through. It is so pretty, but I like the other shade more, which I'm gonna show you. So I'm decluttering that one. I personally prefer the translucent buttery shade. I just think it works better with my skin and it makes my skin look very healthy and like I'm just glowing from within. I have two shades of the Curtain Call Set and Smooth Loose Powder. This is from About Face. The pink one is in Finale and the translucent, more lighter shade is in Bow. This has a beautiful satin finish. It does say online that it is a matte powder, but I have to disagree because when you do set your makeup, it doesn't give you that flat matte powdery kind of look. It absorbs into your skin instantly, sets everything down, but still leaves this nice, natural, healthy glow from within. It's not as glowy as the Kosas powder I just told you guys about, but it's definitely not matte. So I really like this. I think this could be actually a nice alternative to the Kosas powder. This is very blurring on the skin and it looks awesome in photos as well. This is a newer powder that I've been using, the Shades by Shan Translucent Powder in Translucent Matte. I'm gonna keep this because it is, like I said, a newer addition to my collection. I've been really loving this brand. You can get it at JCPenney. Another one of my all-time favorite powders, this is in my top 5, Hourglass Veil Translucent Setting Powder. This is gonna give you that matte look without that drying finish. So if you thought Huda Beauty or One Size was too intense, too matte, too drying, try this one from Hourglass. This is one of the best powders ever. I feel like anybody could use this too, even if you have dry skin, because it's not a drying formula. Not too intense, but it sets your makeup beautifully. It literally makes your skin look like a doll. I have this LYS powder back here. This is the shade Resilience, which is a translucent color. This is the loose version. I actually love the pressed version more. I reach for it more and I like the finish of it more on my skin. It's a more natural finish. This is actually not as matte as I thought it was going to be. I'm going to continue with the pressed over the loose powder, so I am going to donate this. And then I have the Collab Set the Stage Ultrafine Loose Setting Powder. This is the color Banana. I got this over the summer. I thought I could make it work and I did, but it does still leave a little bit of a yellowy cast on my under eye, so it's not the best for my skin tone. But I did want to get this because it was the last powder from Collab that I could find at Sally Beauty. This used to be one of my all-time favorites, and I think to this day it's still one of the best loose powders. I used to use the one with the black cap. I feel like the shades are slightly different, but the formulas are both incredible. Unfortunately though, this is no longer a brand. You might maybe still be able to get this at certain stores for a very affordable price, but yeah, the color is a little bit too yellow for me, unfortunately, so I am gonna donate. And then I have the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Loose Setting Powder in Soft Pink. This one, compared to the one from Revolution, is a little bit lighter in tone. The pink is not as intense. It's very soft, very brightening though. I love the way this looks whenever I have pink blush on. If you have not tried the Wet n Wild loose powder, totally recommend. I have the translucent one somewhere here, but the soft pink is going to give you a slightly brighter look. And I think out of all the loose powders at the drugstore, Wet n Wild has the best packaging. Next section, I'm going to start off with a few loose powders that I see that I already want to get rid of. Starting off with this one from Lottie London. It is the Ready, Set, Go Under Eye Setting Powder, and this one is in Brightening Pink. I actually do like this powder. Unfortunately, Lottie London is no longer a brand though. You could find them at CVS once upon a time, and I did actually enjoy this, but there's so many other now, thankfully, drugstore pink powders, so I'm gonna donate this. But it is nice. The only thing is it would leave a little bit of a white cast with flash photography, but it's still a nice powder, but I have so many that I'm going to keep from the drugstore. This Essence Flawless Skin Trio Loose Setting Powder comes with 3 different powders. So you get a pink one, a more peachy toned one, and then a lavender one. You could either use them individually or mix them all, which I like to do, and it gives such a bright under eye look. Very matte. It kind of reminds me of One Size a little bit with how mattifying it is, but I love the way this looks on my under eyes, especially when I do more dramatic glam, because it is a very intense powder. It kind of gives One Size but at the drugstore, and I love how you get 3 powders in one. So I am going to keep this. I love this formula. Next up I have the Rimmel Stay Matte Loose Setting Powder. It's funny because it actually says on here all day shine free, but it's actually a glowy powder. It's not matte at all. I love this little Revolution Loose Setting Powder. This was from their Mean Girls collab. I may get rid of this, but I also kind of want to keep it just because I love Mean Girls and I like this packaging. But this is a really good pink powder. I feel like the pink is a little bit lighter than the original powder that they have. So you know what? I'm getting rid of it. I don't need it. Declutter. I have this other powder here from Metamorphosis. This is the brightening powder. It's another very light pink powder. Super cute packaging. I love this brand. They have really good blushes, but I am going to donate this. I recently discovered this Dibs powder. It is the Love Beam setting powder. This one is in 222 All Is Well. So it's nice because you actually get a brightening powder, and then the other one is a nice setting powder, which I like for the under eyes to brighten. And then this I've been using to set my makeup, and I love the way it looks. It also smells so good. It literally smells like a little vanilla treat, but this gives a nice subtle bright look, so it's not too much. I think this little 2-in-1 is a nice compact, and I like the finish of this, the way it looks on the skin. So I've been really liking this. I'm gonna keep. I do not like this Polite Society loose powder. This was so dry on my under eyes. It is more than a pretty powder, pore minimizing. It gave me that baby powder look, and I didn't love the way my foundation wore with this, so not my favorite. It's too drying on the skin. And then I have the Kosas Cloud Set powder. This one is in the shade Breezy. This gives that really nice smooth look, and it does set your makeup. I like this more so, not really for my under eyes, but to set my complexion. This is kind of similar to their loose powder, where it's gonna set down your products, but you're still gonna have that glow coming through. So if you like glowy makeup, but you still wanna set your makeup, the Kosas powder is really good. I like this for specific makeup looks. It's not my go-to, but I do like it. This is my go-to, NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop Press Powder. This one is in the shade Light. I also go between light medium as well. My only complaint with this powder, which you guys have told me as well, but it does crack easily if you drop it, so just something to keep in mind. But it's a fantastic powder, and I've repurchased it several times because it is nice and matte. I love the way my makeup looks and wears with this throughout the day, and it's $10, so you literally cannot beat it. The Emco Beauty Miracle Flawless Press Powder is another great option at the drugstore. You can get this at Target. It's a nice alternative to the one from Charlotte Tilbury. I will say it's not identical, but I mean the packaging is, but the actual formula, it's not 100% spot on, but it's a great alternative to Charlotte Tilbury if you don't want to spend $50 on a powder. This one is $10, and it is really nice. It's similar to the NYX one where they're both really matte. I still prefer the one from NYX, but I do like this one from Emco Beauty. They're both great, honestly. I have another little NYX powder over here. This is another light one. I sometimes keep these in my purse, and I might even have another shade somewhere because I love it so much, and I'm constantly hitting pan on this. I have a little Charlotte Tilbury powder here. This one is One Fair. This might be my new one that I just opened. Yes, I also have repurchased this several times. Something about this, it just gives me that perfect matte finish where it doesn't dry out my skin, and it keeps me matte for several hours. That's why I enjoy it, because I don't feel like I have to keep touching up my makeup throughout the day when I use this. I have 2 of the Boucle Silk airbrushed powders from One Size. I have the color Light and Medium. I'm going to declutter the medium shade and keep the light. This is a really light last step finishing touch kind of product. So once your makeup's all done, if you feel like you want to bring a touch of glow to your skin, but in the most natural, subtle way, this powder is it. It's kind of like an hourglass powder. So you don't want to use it to set your makeup or your under eyes, but you want to use it as a finishing touch product. If you have any harsh lines too, this is going to help to diffuse and make everything look really soft and glowy, but still very natural. So I do like this powder. I'm going to keep the light color. Medium, it didn't really work for my skin. Actually, I wish they had a light medium, but the light is better for my skin tone. I already see 3 of the same powder, which I know is totally unnecessary, but Haley's Beauty Retouch Soft Focus Setting Powder. If you've been with me for years, you know how much I adore this formula. They now have a talc-free version. I think both the OG and the talc-free version are stunning. These come in 2 shades now though, I believe. I love everything about this powder. It is truly so blurring, very second skin, but it is very matte as well, but I don't find it to be very intense. It's a very finely milled kind of powder, so it's not going to add coverage or anything. It's just going to set and blur your makeup down all day. Realistically though, I know I don't need 3 of these, so I'm going to keep 1 and donate the other 2. I'm also going to donate the Beauty Bakery Flour Setting Powder. This was such a cute brand. I loved their whole theme and how everything was like baking, but this one is in translucent. I honestly just haven't reached for it in a long time, so I am going to donate. This is the Kylie Cosmetics Natural Blur Powder Foundation. I really like the way this looks. It is so smooth on the skin. And this paired with the skin tint is a beautiful combo. I love this. It does give a nice amount of coverage, but it's not too much. So good for like a natural kind of makeup day. e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder will forever and always be one of my all-time favorites at the drugstore as well. This is nice because it is a very light, soft pink, and it does give that glow. I know I just told you guys I don't really like a glow when I set my under eyes, but with e.l.f. I will make an exception because they do it right. It's not too much. It does give a little light sheen to the under eyes, but it's not too reflective and it's not overly glowy. I love the way my concealer sits and settles and wears throughout the day with this powder, so I will always keep this in rotation. And this one's in the color light pink. It looks so flawless. I have this little Well People loose super powder. It's a brightening powder. I haven't used this honestly in a little bit. Let's donate. Wet n Wild Photo Focus Translucent Powder. This is matte and it's pretty much like the Huda Beauty of powders at the drugstore. It is one of the most matte yet still very blurring powders. I like this for the under eyes and also to set the makeup if you wanted to. It's a great 2-in-1. So good. I have 2 of these Dominique powders. I adore the brightening powders. This one is in Rosita and Translucent. ColourPop No Filter Loose Setting Powder. Also forgot how good this is. This was the loose setting powder. To me, this is matte, but it's not as matte as the one from Wet n Wild. It's like a little step down from that, but it's a great powder. Also comes in a couple different shades. I remember loving this when it first came out. I definitely want to keep this. I like to keep some good drugstore options in here for when I do my drugstore videos, but yeah, I do like this. I'm going to keep. I have the Pore Eclipse Translucent Loose Setting Powder here from Milk Makeup. Really great powder as well. If you have oily skin, the Milk Pore Eclipse line is incredible. They have a primer that I really like as well. The powder is awesome. It's just super blurring. It's very intense, but I'm already keeping so many other powders. And if I'm being honest with you, the Huda Beauty one is still my #1 and the one that I go to the most, but I like this one a lot. It is so matte. Also intense. That's why I said if you have oily skin, try the Pore Eclipse line from Milk. But I'm gonna donate. I'm also gonna donate this Bare Minerals Original Mineral Veil. I tried this on my under eyes, didn't really love it personally, but it is a nice setting powder for all over. Or I think if you do use it on the under eyes, maybe dust it very lightly instead of using too much because it can be a little bit drying, but I love Bare Minerals and I'm gonna keep this other loose concealer that I have, so I'm gonna donate this instead. We have another Makeup by Mario powder here, again with this soft blur setting powder. This one is in Neutral Peach and I am going to donate. Kylie Cosmetics setting powder. This is translucent. I am going to keep this because it's a little bit newer in my collection. I got it this year, so we're keeping. Then I have the One Size Turn Up the Base Versatile Foundation Powder in Light 3 NG. This is nice because it is going to add coverage, so if you ever wanted to skip out on foundation, you could just do a little concealer and then add this over top, and it's going to blur but also cover up. It's very matte though, one of those products that you want to use and make sure your skin is hydrated beforehand, but it is really nice and I'm going to keep. Fenty Beauty came out with these brightening powders this year and I do really like these, but I'm only going to keep the Rose Quartz one because I think it works a little bit better with my skin. The banana one, at first I was like, okay, it's not too yellow on my under eyes, but the more that I used it, the more that it actually is. It's beautiful, very blurring, but not for my skin tone. So I'm going to declutter, but I'm going to keep the pink one. I have an LA Girl Translucent Brightening Loose Setting Powder. This, I forgot to tell you guys, is actually a nice alternative to the Kosas Cloud Set Translucent Buttery Powder. not identical, but it is going to give you that really pretty light satin touch with your makeup. So if you like glowy makeup, the LA Girl Pro Setting Powder is beautiful. It's kind of similar to the e.l.f. Halo Glow Powder, where it's going to set everything and give you a little bit of that glow, but it's done right. I have two more of these Revolution loose powders. The one up top is translucent, which is for all skin tones, and then I have the color Lace, which is for fair to medium skin tones. I'm going to keep the color Lace just because I like that little touch of tint in there with my skin tone, and I'm going to declutter the translucent color. Another powder I'm decluttering is this one from Hourglass. It is the Vanish Airbrush Pressed Powder. I know it's kind of hard to see because it's glaring, but I love the loose version of this powder. I told you guys it is in my top 5, but the pressed, it just doesn't do it for me. When it comes to high-end pressed powders, I prefer the one from Charlotte Tilbury over this one. I think it just gives it more flawless airbrushed kind of moment. I have another Fenty Beauty powder here. This is the lavender shade. Again, really nice mattifying powder, but I'm already keeping the one from Huda, which is the one that I go to the most. Then I have the tinted pressed finishing powder from Rare Beauty. I'm actually going to donate this color because I like this powder. I just think it does run a little bit dark. Light beige actually pulls a little kind of orangey on my skin, but this is a good finishing touch product if you want to blend out any harsh lines at the end, if you want to revitalize your makeup a little bit and bring a touch of glow. This is a nice finishing powder. This is the Bio Blurring Loose Setting Powder from House Labs. This is another natural finish translucent powder. This is not going to give a lot of coverage. It's really just going to lightly and very naturally set your makeup. So, oh wow, I have used this powder in so long. It's the Air Set Radiant Loose Setting Powder from Say, and I can see how glowy that powder is just in the packaging. I'm gonna donate this just because I'm gonna keep the Kosas powders, which are very radiant, and Wet n Wild Hello Kitty 50th anniversary collab here. This is very similar to the Soft Pink Photo Focus powder. Since I'm keeping this one, I don't need this one. It's literally identical to me, so I'm gonna donate. I have another powder here from Wet n Wild. This one is the banana shade. This is very yellow and dark on my skin tone, so this is ideal if you are tanner, deeper, but it's a great powder, but she is intense. Donate. I love this Bare Minerals Well Rested Concealer because it literally makes your under eyes look like you are well rested. You could use this on its own. It's a powdered concealer, so dust it even if you're not wearing any makeup for a very natural, radiant, bright look, or you could use it after all your makeup is complete to really smooth and brighten even more. I love this product. It is a hidden gem. So good. Keeping. I have another Charlotte Tilbury pressed powder here. This one is in 2 medium. This is typically more of a summer shade for me. In the winter, I can't even use this at all because it's a little bit too dark, but I always keep backups because I use it so much. Hard Candy Chilling Wonder Sheer Envy Loose Powder. This is such an interesting formula. So it actually is cooling, ideal if you have dry skin and you want to set your makeup. It's a great loose powder at the drugstore. I love it. Oh wow. This is another gem. I forgot about this e.l.f. Camo Powder Foundation. I need to use this again. I remember loving this. This is a new one. I have another one over there that I think is a better match for me. This one is in Fair 140W. You can see it has a little bit of that yellowy tint, but this gives a blurred, very smooth look. This is another product where you could skip out on a liquid or cream foundation and just use concealer and then apply this, and it's going to give so much coverage and blur your skin. I'm going to donate this one though because, like I said, I think I have a better shade in my other drawer that I'm going to show you, but donating. LA Girl has a matte loose powder as well. If you have not tried LA Girl products, by the way, definitely try them out. Most of their things are under $10, but this is the Instant Finish Blurring Loose Powder. It's just a matte loose powder. It looks nice on the under eyes. It kind of gives Wet n Wild vibes for the most part, but the compact is just a little bit smaller. I like to have variety for my drugstore videos, like I said. So then I have the e.l.f. Perfect Finish HD powder. This is great for touch-ups or mattifying. I love powders like this specifically in the summer because they're not going to add any coverage or look cakey, but it is going to absorb any oils and shine and pretty much make your makeup look refreshed instantly. So love this one, and this is one of e.l.f.'s OG gems. It's really good. Last but not least, I have the Kimchi Chic Puff Puff Pass Set and Bake Powder. This is another OG for me. I used to use this, I remember, back in 2020. I need to whip it out again because I remember this being so good and so incredibly smooth. So we're keeping. And now this is the last section of powders. I'm gonna just go from here and then we'll work our way around. So here is the other e.l.f. Camo Powder Foundation that I was telling you guys about. This one is in 240W. This is a great option if you don't like liquid foundation. It is so good and so blurring. I really like it. I'm gonna keep Milani Make It Last Setting Powder. This is another great touch-up product. This is a great dupe for the Fenty Beauty Invisimatte, the blotting powder. This one is just a completely colorless shade, so love this for the summertime for touch-ups. And this one is nice because it doesn't leave a white cast, but it is going to absorb any shine or oil. I like this. We're keeping. I'm going to go ahead and donate this What's Up Beauty Wind Dancer pressed setting powder. It's not a bad powder. It was just a little bit too drying on my skin. It is very matte. This one is in the shade Light. It's really pretty though. I like the packaging. I'm also going to donate the Easy Bake and Snatch powder from Huda Beauty. This one's in the shade Pound Cake. I thought this was going to be like the loose setting powder, but in a pressed form, and it wasn't. I just didn't really like the finish of this on my skin. When it comes to brightening and that glow, I would rather use the Bare Minerals Brightening Concealer. I just love the way this looks over the one from Huda. I mean, these are two completely different products, but if I am going for a glowy bright under eye, I'd rather use something like this versus this from Huda. It just wasn't my favorite, so I'm donating. I love this Catrice Prime and Fine Mattifying Powder. This is my favorite in the summer because it sets everything down so nicely, and I feel like it does help to make my makeup sweat proof, transfer proof, all the things. I really like this a lot. I'm gonna keep. It's an affordable gem. I have the NYX HD finishing powder here. This one is in the color Banana. It is a brightening powder, but I honestly don't really reach for this all that often, so I am gonna donate this. Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Soft Matte Powder Foundation. This one's in 230. I like this to set the makeup. I actually like this, I think, more than the loose powder. It is matte, but something about this, it just brings a little bit of extra coverage if you're using it over top of foundation, but you could also use this in place of your liquid foundation as well. But I'm gonna keep this because I really like the color 230 on my skin. I love the shade range of Fenty Beauty, and this is a product that sometimes I will even use with a big fluffy brush all over my chest just to smooth that area out as well if my neck and chest is exposed, and I love the way that it looks. I have the CoverGirl Clean Invisible Powder here. This is one of those powders where it's gonna look basically like your skin when you set it. There's no powdery residue with this whatsoever, no kickback. It is very natural, very second skin. So if you don't like that look of a lot of powder on your face, or you're just looking for something to set without that matte look, try this out. I think it's really good. It really is invisible on the skin. I'm gonna also donate the Bare Minerals Original Mineral Veil because I have not used this, and I honestly probably won't. I'd rather just donate it. It looks pretty fresh as well, so let's declutter. This is the Nikia Joy Velvet Finishing Powder. This is the pressed version. This, first of all, smells so good. It kind of smells like that Dibs powder I showed you earlier. It has like that vanilla touch. When it comes to pressed powders, I kind of just keep my same ones in rotation. This was a nice powder. I just don't reach for it anymore, so I'm gonna donate. Also gonna donate the Essence Keep Me Covered powder. This one is in the shade Light Medium. It's just not really a product that I reach for all that often, and at the drugstore I definitely have other favorite pressed powders. Here is that little mini Hourglass Veil powder. If you don't want to commit to the big one, I know it's pricey, get the little mini. It will last you a while, and even though it's a mini, I feel like it's a good travel size of the powder where it's not too miniature. Here's another one of the e.l.f. Camo Powder Foundation. Light 210N I think is actually a better match for me versus the 240W. So I'm actually gonna keep this one, and then we're gonna donate the other. Let's see. Yeah, you see how the 240W kind of has that yellowy undertone because it's warm. The neutral I think is just gonna be so much better. Yeah. Let's keep and declutter one. I adore this brand, Relove by Revolution at Walmart. It's like a little sister brand to Makeup Revolution, but nothing is over $5. And nowadays that is rare, but this powder is actually so good. And even though I typically use loose powder for the under eyes, I like the way this looks with my under eye concealer as well, and just to set all over the makeup. It's just a good affordable powder. Also a really big fan of the Pretty Smart brand at Walmart. I have two of these shades, Light Medium Neutral and Light Neutral. I usually use the light medium in the summertime and then light neutral for my winter shade, but this is a beautiful, more satin powder. So if you're not into a matte finish but you still want to set your makeup, this one is beautiful. It makes your skin look healthy, but it still sets down any liquids or creams so that they don't move throughout the day. Honestly, it's a really nice alternative to one of my favorite powders, which I'm going to show you right here from Lawless. This is the Perfecting Powder, talc free. It's smoothing. This one's in light medium. I love this. This is a top 5 pressed powder for me. Again, with that satin finish, so it's not as matte as the one from Charlotte Tilbury, but it's still gonna set your makeup down. I think this is a really nice powder if you want to splurge, but if you don't, the Pretty Smart one is a nice alternative to the one from Lawless. Kind of similar finishes. So smooth, and Pretty Smart is talc free. This is the Wet n Wild 5-in-1 Essence Primer and Finish Powder. Honestly, I haven't used this and I probably won't, so let's just donate. I have this pressed powder foundation from this brand Mineral Fusion. Another one of those products that I remember I did use it. I liked it, but I probably didn't really love it enough to continue using it, so I am gonna donate. I have another Lawless powder here. This one's in the shade Light. You know I love a powder when I have multiple shades of it, and I'm usually always between light and light medium. So this is a nice winter shade for me. I'm gonna keep. Donating the LA Girl Brightening Setting Powder. This looked very casty, very white, dry. I have another NYX pressed powder here. This one is in light medium, but it honestly doesn't get cakey, and it's one of those products that you can be very generous with, and it's always going to look smooth. I have another one of these CoverGirl Clean Fresh powders. This is one of those colorless powders that you could use to touch up or set your makeup. I'm going to donate this since I am keeping a couple of these kind of powders already. I have another e.l.f. Halo Glow setting powder here. I think, which one is the old packaging? I think the black cap is the old packaging, so I'm definitely going to donate one of these and keep the other. I have another pink loose setting powder here from Metamorphosis. This looks so cute. I believe, yeah, this is brand new. Let's donate. Revolution has this powder that is a translucent loose powder on one side and then a pressed on the other. I'm gonna keep because I do like this. I want to keep this for my affordable videos, but so compact, it's so nice. It's like $10 and you literally get 2 powders in one. And I feel like a lot of different skin tones could use this since it is colorless. I have another one of these Relove Super Matte powders. This one is the translucent colors. I recently discovered this RMS loose powder. I'm kind of honestly still playing around with it. It's the Hydra setting powder. Very hydrating, very glowy. Ideal if you have more dry skin. And this one's in the shade medium. I'm gonna keep. Okay, we have a little Patrick Ta here. This is the Cream Foundation and Finishing Powder Duo. I remember I kept this. I didn't like the foundation, but I kept this simply for the powder because I liked the powder more than the foundation, and I honestly forgot about it. But I'm gonna keep it because I need to use this again. Rare Beauty has this little on-the-go blotting set, so it's nice because it comes with a decent sized mirror, but then you get the little 100 sheets and then a puff that you could use to touch up with. But I am going to donate this because I have so many little mirrors and compacts and things in my purses already, but this is super cute. Here's another one of those Rare Beauty finishing powders that I told you guys about. I picked up Ivory, which I believe is the lightest color because I do feel like this runs a little bit dark. I have another one of these Chilling Wonder loose setting powders from Hard Candy. I'm going to donate this one since I am keeping the other. I have another Dominique translucent powder here. Is this new? Oh yeah, it is. Definitely gonna donate. Nakia Joy Cosmetics. This is the Velvet Finishing Powder. I am gonna go ahead and donate. I haven't really used this all year, but it is a nice powder. I just have so many other favorites that I am keeping. This is one of my favorite drugstore brightening powders, the Essence Banana Powder, simply because it's not too yellow on the skin. It's a nice powder. It almost kind of looks like it's a white shade, but it has a touch of yellow in there, but in the most subtle way, so that's why I like it for brightening. And it is really smooth, so we're keeping. Also going to donate the Oma Beauty Hydro Blast finishing powder. This is kind of similar to that Hard Candy powder where when you apply it, it feels cooling, like you're putting water on your face. This is the powder that I prefer from LYS, the Triple Fix Translucent Setting Powder in Resilience, but it's just the translucent color. I like the pressed version more than the loose version. This is a fantastic natural finish setting powder. Love it for the under eyes and for setting my entire face. If Charlotte Tilbury was too matte, try this one from LYS. Also donating the Jason Wu Ready Set Matte Setting Powder. Donating the Moira Loose Setting Powder in Translucent as well. Last but not least, I have the Halo Glow Powder Filter. This is in Light Neutral. I'm actually going to keep this. This is another product you can use after your makeup is complete to bring a little touch of Lumi in there. So in this drawer, I'm going to keep all of my pink powders as well as finishing powders. I'm also going to keep my peach powder here because I honestly don't have any other peach powders. Okay, so in this section, I tried to keep all of my matte loose powder. So it's a mixture of drugstore high-end, but these are all of my most mattifying formulas. These are my more hydrating, radiant, or natural finish powders. Almost forgot to mention the powder that got me through all 4 years of high school, not even kidding, Rimmel Stay Matte. So in this section here, I'm gonna keep all of my pressed powders. So much better. Oh my gosh, I love it. It's like very satisfying. And I just found my Relove HD Super Matte Setting Powder. This is another underrated gem. I think this is like $5. Similar to the pressed version, the loose version is amazing as well. Here are all of the pressed and loose powders that I'm getting rid of. A lot of good ones in here. Honestly, I was just trying to be mindful of what I actually keep in rotation and things that I've been using recently the most. Just like with the concealers, I would say with the powders, I got rid of about half and kept about half as well. So all my concealers are categorized between drugstore and high-end. So let's start off with drugstore first. The Revolution Beauty IRL Filter Finish Soft Matte Concealer is one of my favorites. This has really nice coverage, and for it being a matte formula, it's not too thick, it doesn't get dry or cakey, and it also doesn't excessively crease. It is one of my favorite formulas. I'm keeping this, and I have this in a couple different shades because I do reach for this all year round. So I have winter and summer shades, but I love it. It's so good. This is another drugstore concealer I love. It's the Kokie Double Time Full Cover Concealer. Super full coverage, super long wearing, and it's very matte. I'm not even sure where you can get this anymore because it used to be available at Rite Aid. But I know Rite Aid is not really a thing anymore, but I do really love it. I'm gonna keep it. I have so many different shades of this concealer. I'm gonna get rid of a couple, but I am gonna keep my go-tos that I do really like. I tend to mix shades with this formula. That's the only thing. I feel like the shades could be a little bit better, but it's still a really great concealer if you can still find it. So I think I'm gonna keep 3 colors and then donate the rest of the shades I have. I found a bunch of other shades in this concealer, so these I'm gonna donate. The Wet n Wild Incognito Concealer is another great full coverage matte concealer. I only wish they had more shades. I have this one in Light Honey. I believe I have it in a different shade. I don't think I opened this because I realized when I got home how light it actually is. So I am going to donate this and then keep the other shade that I have. I found it over here in one of my little bins. I have the color medium neutral, which is better. Still pretty light though. I'm gonna go ahead and donate this Lavish Creamy Concealer from Moira. I haven't reached for this in at least a year. I also have a couple different e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealers. This has a nice satin finish. I really like this formula. I'm gonna keep the shade Light Sand. I have the Ulta Beauty Complexion Crush Full Coverage Concealer. I have 2 shades. I tried this out in the summer, and so I'm gonna get rid of the color Tan Neutral, and I'm gonna keep the shade Medium Neutral. I'm also decluttering the Rimmel Multitasker Concealer. This has great coverage. It's full coverage, soft matte, but I don't like the big shade jump. I have 60 on the left and 70 on the right. I mean, that is such a big difference. And I definitely have other favorite drugstore concealers with better shades and this kind of coverage anyways, so I'm gonna declutter. I wasn't a huge fan of the CoverGirl Clean Invisible Concealer, but I think it's also because the shade that I used, this one is in 110. It was a little bit too orangey on my skin. I really do like the powder though, so I may try this again in the future with a different color, but I am gonna get rid of this. This is in my top 5 for favorite drugstore concealers. NYX Bare With Me Concealer Serum. This is great coverage, but it's very hydrating. I love it for the under eyes or even as my foundation. I have 3 other NYX Bare With Me concealers here. Golden. This is a more warm shade, perfect in the summertime, I would say, with a tan, and I would use this more so as my foundation. Vanilla's in the middle. This is what I love whenever I want a little bit of a brighter look, and then beige is my go-to color. It's just a nice neutral tone. Love these. I'm going to keep these, and then I am going to donate that newer golden shade that I have. Completely forgot about this CoverGirl Outlast Extreme Wear Concealer. This has full coverage, it says, and I have this one in the color medium beige. I definitely want to try this, so I'm going to maybe use this on my next shop, my stash. Very sad to report that Flower Beauty is no longer a brand. This is the Light Illusion Full Coverage Concealer, one of their best products ever, honestly. This gives full coverage, but it is very hydrating. It was one of my all-time favorite formulas, so I actually have also a couple shades of this. I'm gonna keep it just because I love it, and you can't get it anymore. These are both light, actually, so I guess I'll keep one. Let me see. These are kind of crusty, to be honest. Yeah, because the one is old, so I'm actually going to get rid of one and keep the other. Another IRL Filter Finish concealer. This one is in C8. I am going to keep this. I really like how much product you get on the applicator as well. It's just all around a really nice concealer. Catrice has this under eye brightener in the liquid version. It usually comes in a little pot. I don't really love the liquid version. I feel like it doesn't really do a whole lot for me personally. This is another great hydrating concealer with good coverage. The ColourPop Pretty Fresh, but I am going to get rid of this color in light 50W because it is way too yellow on my skin. Also getting rid of the e.l.f. Camo Color Corrector. This is the yellow one, which is meant to neutralize purple and blue tones in the skin, and it can help to correct any under eye circles and just dullness that you have, but I don't reach for this, so I'm going to get rid of it. They also have a peach one, which says it camouflages dark spots in fair to medium skin tones. This one I am going to keep because whenever I do use color correctors, I like them to be a little bit more neutral peach. LA Girl also has amazing color correctors in a bunch of different colors. This one is the peach one. And Essence has an under eye brightener as well. This one is pinky, but it's very light. So if you have more fair skin looking for a little bit more brightness, this one's good, and it's super creamy. How cute is this little packaging from Hailey's Beauty? It's the Revive Weightless Longwear Concealer, and it is very warm, so I am gonna go ahead and donate this. Another gem from Flower Beauty is the Get Real Serum Concealer. This is like their other concealer that I showed you guys, the Light Illusion, but it's a little bit more natural. It has lighter coverage and it's more glowy, but another gem. It's beautiful on the skin. I have the Catrice True Skin High Cover Concealer. This is really hydrating and very full coverage, but this is really old, to be honest. But I am going to get rid of the shade because it is a warm color. I'm going to try to go through and part ways with anything that is too yellow. The Versed Serum Concealer is another really good one. This kind of reminds me of a high-end concealer, but at the drugstore. It's skincare and makeup in one. It does remind me a lot of the NYX Bare With Me Concealer Serum, but the packaging is different. Obviously, the shades are different. So maybe if you didn't like the one from NYX, the one from Versed could be a nice option. And I'm in the color 60, by the way, which was more of a summer shade, but I think now I could still maybe make it work. I have this very old full coverage concealer from Winky Lux here that I am going to part ways with because I haven't used it in a couple years at this point. When I did use it, I do remember liking it, but the shades are not the best. A random Pretty Smart Conceal and Appeal Concealer. This one is in light medium neutral. Haven't used this in a while, but I'm going to keep it because it is my shade and I want to use it again before I roll it out completely and get rid of it. This is one of the most full coverage concealers that I own. It gives It Cosmetic vibes. It's the Hailey's Beauty Rewind Blurring Full Coverage Concealer. Oh wow, and it looks like this one is brand new as well. It has a nice metal applicator. It is so cooling and a little bit of this goes a long way. I love it. Next section. We have a lot of duplicates in here, by the way. So let's start off with those. So I have another one of these Flower Beauty concealers. I have the shade Sand, and then I guess I mixed the other color in Light. That's the only thing with Flower Beauty. I was constantly mixing, but it is a nice concealer. I'm going to keep those. This is another one that is no longer available. Joa Beauty Eye Serum Concealer. It's discontinued. The only thing is it gets very messy. It's kind of like the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind in a way, but I loved the way this looked on my under eyes. It was the perfect kind of on-the-go product. I really loved this. I'm sad that this is no longer available, but yeah, it's very, very messy. It's kind of oozing on the sides as well, so I'm going to get rid of it. I love the CoverGirl True Blend Undercover Concealer. This is Tarte Shape Tape, but at the drugstore. 100% full coverage, matte, long wearing. I have two different colors here, Golden Natural, and then I also have the shade Buff Beige. I'm gonna part ways with this Ordinary Concealer. I wonder if this is even still available. See, like this one says light medium pink undertones. This is not even a good match for me. I'm gonna get rid of it. Another CoverGirl Clean Invisible Concealer. Getting rid of it. Another Winky Lux concealer here as well, also getting rid of it. I have a couple different of the Revolution concealers. I just swatched a couple of the concealers. I love the undertone of the IRL Filter Finish as well. I think I'm going to get rid of the C5 color because it is the warmest out of all of them. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of C5. It is pretty warm on my skin. Another Flower Beauty Get Real Serum Concealer. This one is in light medium. I'm going to donate. An OG classic concealer for me that never fails me and that's always affordable. It's always good. LA Girl Pro Conceal. This has been around for forever and I've always go back to it. I love the color Tawny on my skin. It's a little bit more, I would say, of a natural kind of concealer, not too matte, not too dewy, that perfect happy medium with nice coverage. I like it. It does come with this kind of little brush applicator, which can be a little bit messy, but the formula is worth it and the price. Didn't love the Essence Keep Me Covered concealer. Also a little bit too yellow on my skin. I have this little caffeine under eye serum from Catrice. I don't think this actually has any coverage. I think it's literally more of like a skincare product, but I'm gonna get rid of it. Another Flower Beauty concealer. This one is in light medium. I'm gonna get rid of this one as well. This is another really nice product from Milani. It is their supercharged brightening under eye tint. Think of this as like a skin tint, but for your under eyes. It actually does brighten and conceal in the most natural way on the under eyes. You can typically find this at Ulta. I have it in a different shade, I believe, but this is the 120 Peach. Really great. I like this in the summer, specifically too when I have a tan and I want to do really light makeup. Another product similar to that, if you don't like a lot of concealer and you want to keep it natural, the under eye brightener and concealer from Revolution Beauty. Skin Silk is the perfect name for it because it is so lightweight, but it's still going to do a little something. So I have light peach and medium yellow. I ended up mixing the shades, but I really like the applicator. It's a metal applicator, and this is a nice alternative to the Rare Beauty Positive Light Under Eye Brightener, which is a great product, but if you don't feel like splurging, this one is really nice and natural, but still glowy. And I like how it gives a natural enhancement to the under eyes. I have another LA Girl Pro Concealer. This one's in the shade Bisque, so it's a little bit lighter than Tawny, but I like to keep, typically with my favorite concealers, a couple shades in case I mix or if I want to use them in the summer versus winter. And then we have the LA Colors Ultimate Cover Concealer. This is another full coverage formula. The only thing is the shades, again, not the best with this. I randomly found this at Five Below though, and I am gonna keep it. I didn't even realize that this was a little powder here from Catrice. It's the Under Eye Brightening Setting Powder, and this one is in the color Light Rose, so it's like a light pink. I need to try this. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna actually put it with my other pink powders that I have here, and it fits perfectly. Loves it. And Catrice also has their under eye brightener. This is the one that comes in the pot. I personally really like this one versus the liquid one. I think it just gives a little bit of a better result. It's a little bit creamier. Since it is in a pot, it is a little bit thicker, but it's still really creamy and lightweight. So I do like this. So these are my most hydrating concealer formulas. And then these are all of my most matte and full coverage drugstore / more affordable concealer, because I know Haley's is technically not drugstore. You can find them at Ulta now though, online and Amazon. Almost forgot. Revolution, the IRL filter finish. Yes. Now let's tackle this high-end concealers. Starting off with this little mini Huda Beauty Easy Bake. I love this powder, I told you guys, but I don't like this mini packaging. This is actually the old packaging. They have much better miniature powder packaging now. This year I tried out this brand Kulfi. They have a lot of great products, but I didn't love the concealer. It was a little bit too dry and cakey on my under eyes. It excessively creased and separated throughout the day. I love their mascara though, and they have really cute lip products. How cute are these little mini Born This Way concealers? So cute for traveling, but I don't think these colors are it for me, to be honest. I'm gonna get rid of these. I have Shortbread and Golden Beige. This is a great full coverage concealer. I've loved this for years, and it's just one of those classics. Is an OG for a reason, because it's just too good. Another little mini Born This Way concealer. Warm Sand. Gotta get rid of all these yellow toned shades. I have two colors of the IT Cosmetics Do It All Radiant Concealer. The color that I'm in is light medium neutral. This is that perfect medium to buildable coverage, your under eyes but better kind of product. I always love IT Cosmetics complexion products because they are so lightweight, but they provide a lot of coverage and they wear nicely throughout the day. So love this. I haven't used the medium neutral. I honestly thought that I would in the summer, but light medium neutral is just a perfect color for me. So I'm gonna donate medium neutral and keep light medium neutral. We have a couple drugstore little stragglers over here. Oh, I forgot about these Milani under eye brighteners. Kind of similar to the other ones that I told you about. These are fantastic. Definitely gonna keep. I also have a little Pixie under eye brightener. I used to use these years ago. This one is the Brightening Peach. I have one here also from Flower Beauty. I'm so sad about Flower Beauty, honestly. This is in light peach as well. Let's get rid of that. I found another Bare Minerals powdered concealer. Also gonna donate the Becca and Smashbox corrector as well. Fenty Beauty We're Even Hydrating Concealer is another one of my top 5 high-end formulas. Great coverage, hydrating formula, doesn't excessively crease. I have 240N, which I'm gonna keep. I have this random Mirabella concealer here. I'm gonna go ahead and donate. I believe this is a very full coverage concealer, but the color is a little bit too light and it's very thick. Smashbox Photo Finish Hydrating Under Eye Primer didn't really do much for me, so I am gonna get rid of this. More of these e.l.f. correctors. The green says it camouflages redness on all skin tones, and then the blue you can mix with your foundation to help neutralize any warm or yellow foundations. I honestly don't really get a lot of redness, but I'm wondering if that could work maybe for pimples. And then I am going to keep both of these because I feel like the green could be good for any type of really red, stubborn pimples. And then I like to keep a blue on hand. Pacifica Dream Lit Glow Under Eye Brightener. I don't believe this gives any coverage. I think it just adds a really pretty touch of glow to the under eyes. So if you want a little enhancement there, I'm going to keep this. Dominique Cosmetics Concealer is another top tier formula. I also love the metal applicator that comes with this concealer. I have it in a couple neutral shades. This one is more of a bronzy toned. I'm gonna just keep one of these to use as a bronzer, but it's so nice. I love the metal applicator. Anything metal, it just feels so nice and more of like a luxurious experience when you're applying it. So I'm thinking I'm gonna keep one and use it as a little bronzer, and then the other three I'm gonna donate. Because sometimes I do like to use concealer as bronzer if the formula is creamy enough, and this one from Dominique is another LA Girl Pro concealer. This is a great bronzer formula as well, just because again it is super creamy and beautiful bronze. We're gonna keep. I have the Fenty Beauty Bright Fix Eye Brightener. This one's in Melon. I feel like it helps sometimes too with just depuffing and making you look a little bit less tired without having to go in with something really thick and heavy. So this is another nice product I am going to keep. And then Rare Beauty Positive Light Under Eye Brightener. This is what I was telling you about. Revolution has a nice alternative. It's not identical, but it is a nice option. Also has that metal applicator, which is really nice, especially in the mornings for a little depuffing moment. But under eye brighteners are nice. You can blend them in with your finger too. And this is kind of like a primer for your under eyes, but it's the Sheer Envy Instant Eye Fix from Hard Candy. I used to use this years ago and they did reformulate it. I'm going to keep this in my collection and I need to use this again. So I moved my under eye brighteners and correctors in this little section here instead. Now let's tackle the rest of these high-end concealers. I'm going to go ahead and donate the Too Faced Born This Way multi-use concealer just because these colors are not it for me. Shortbread and golden beige. If you guys use this concealer and you're similar to my skin tone, let me know what color you have, because a lot of the colors, I will say, they do run a little bit golden for me. But what I love about this concealer is the packaging. It's just a multi-use concealer. Truly, you can use it to sculpt if you want to get some darker shades, to bronze, contour. In my opinion, even use this as a foundation because it is so full coverage. It kind of reminds me of the foundation, but in a concealer form, to be honest. But in my opinion, it is a nice 2-in-1 product. So I'm going to donate. Love the Tower 28 concealer, similar to the one from Fenty that I showed you guys, the We're Even. Both of these are very similar in my opinion. They give that hydrated, very bright under eye, but you get good coverage at the same time, but it doesn't feel heavy, it doesn't separate. So both of these are very similar. I think Tower 28 might have a little bit more of like those skincare benefits in there, but if you like hydrating formulas, you would like either one of these. I have the Natasha Denona concealer here in N9. I personally like her foundation more than the concealer. For some reason, this concealer excessively creases on me. I love how hydrating and creamy it is. It also has good coverage. I always just go back to my House Labs concealer or Tower 28 or Fenty or IT Cosmetics, so I'm gonna get rid of it. Out of all of my high-end concealers, the House Labs Triclone Skin Tech is my #1 favorite. If I could only use one for the rest of my life, it would be this one. It's that perfect natural finish concealer. It's not overly dewy, it's not matte. Amazing coverage, and the wearability on this is insane. It makes my under eyes look so incredibly smooth. I have two different colors in here. This one is 23 light medium golden, and then 24 is somewhere in here, and it's more of a neutral. Oh, here it is. They're very similar. Honestly, the undertones to House Labs are incredible as well. 24 is light medium neutral, so technically it's a little bit less golden than 23, but I used them both. They're amazing. I'm gonna part ways with this RMS Revitalize Hydra Concealer because the color is not it. I told you guys the Dominique concealer is top tier. I cannot get enough of this metal applicator. This one's in the color Creme Brulee. I am gonna keep. This pairs really nicely with her powder as well. These are my most full coverage concealers that I own. I have 2 extra shades of the Haley's Rewind Concealer, which I'm gonna donate. IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye Full Coverage, and same with the Urban Decay Naked Quickie. You need a dot of this because the coverage is so intense. So these are top 3 full coverage concealers. In the IT Cosmetics one, I have the color Medium Nude 21.5. I love it because it's neutral, so it doesn't pull too warm on my skin. And then in the Urban Decay Naked Quickie, I have 41 NN and 40 NN of both of these, which I do like to alternate between. So we're keeping. I love this. Those concealers are also very matte. Speaking of very matte, I have a couple different shades of the Hourglass Vanish Concealer, which is another super intense formula. I honestly don't even know what color I would be now that I'm looking at it. I think Drift might be the best color. Oat pulls a little bit kind of yellow, and then Sepia is also a little bit kind of a yellow, and it's a little bit too light. All right, I'm gonna keep Drift 3.8 from the Hourglass Concealer. Hourglass Concealer is kind of like Urban Decay Naked Quickie, where you don't want to use too much because it's going to look cakey and it's going to be too much on the under eye. So less is more for sure. I like the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Concealer, but it does leak. I noticed that over time. I have Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Lift and Flex Concealer. This was super intense, but I didn't love the color on my skin. It was a little bit too yellow. I have the shade 7. This is a concealer that I have used from Say. This is, I think, their OG one. I don't even know what the name is, but it's more of a glowy kind of concealer. I remember using this. Oh wow, it kind of has a pungent smell though. I think this is like super old, over 3 years old. Let's get rid of it. This is a Perfect Natural Finish Concealer, LYS Triple Fix Full Coverage Brightening. I know it does say full coverage, but to me it is a little bit more of a natural kind of coverage concealer. It doesn't have a ton, but it's also not super light. I love what this does to the under eyes because it's very lightweight. It's like your under eyes, but better. It has a nice, very thin formula. I think you would actually really enjoy this if you have more mature skin because it is so thin, or if you just don't like a thicker concealer. Too Faced Born This Way Ethereal Light Concealer is for those of you who want nice coverage with a radiance to your under eyes. So it kind of does remind me of the Born This Way Multi-Use, but it's a lighter version and it's much more glowy. I thought this was for some reason discontinued, but it's actually still available. Tarte Ultra Creamy Concealer. This is full coverage and a little bit of a more hydrating formula than the OG Tarte Shape Tape, but I have other favorites. I don't really reach for it, so we're getting rid of it. I have a bunch of extra shades of the Dominique Concealer. So I kept the color Creme Brulee, and I'm gonna donate the rest of these shades. This is one of my least favorite concealers, Tarte Shape Tape Radiant. The Ultra Creamy I could get by, but the Radiant did not look good on my under eyes, and it separated, so we're getting rid of this. Getting rid of the Milk Makeup Concealer. This is the Future Fluid Concealer. This actually does have good coverage from what I remember, but the shades that I got, they just didn't work out for me, so I'm gonna get rid of 8C and 9N. I have 3 shades of the Kylie Cosmetics Power Plush Longwear Concealer. I want to play with this a little bit more. I've always loved Anastasia concealer. This one has super full coverage. It's the Magic Touch Concealer in the shade 8, but I have a ton of full coverage and very radiant concealers that I enjoy, so we're gonna get rid of this. I always love It Cosmetics concealers as well because it's skincare and makeup, and this is a serum kind of concealer as well, but since I'm keeping the Do It All Radiant Concealer, I'm gonna just get rid of the Dark Spot Concealer Serum. I have a random little highlighter here from Milani. This does not belong here, but she's cute. I have a Beautiful Skin Radiant Concealer here from Charlotte Tilbury. I don't remember the last time I used it, so maybe I'll use it again once more before officially getting rid of it. I've been really loving the Shades by Shan Concealer. This has amazing coverage and it is nice and creamy. I love the color 11N. I'm keeping this. Also gonna get rid of the Ilia True Skin Serum Concealer just because I don't use it and I haven't used it. I'm also gonna get rid of the Makeup by Mario Concealer. This is his Surreal Skin Concealer. I have the shade 260. It's a little bit too warm, again, for my skin tone. I'm gonna keep this Rare Beauty Concealer in 200C. This has a little bit more of a natural finish, and I love natural finish products with my combo skin. It just usually works out really nicely. And then I have a little LA Girl Pro Concealer, and this one is a Cool Pink Corrector. So in this little organizer, I'm gonna try to do glowy hydrating concealers versus matte concealers on one side. And here are all of the concealers that I am getting rid of. The concealers that are untouched, I will be donating, but a lot of these are old, so I will throw out whatever is expired. And then these are all of the concealers that I am keeping. It's satisfying because I have everything drugstore versus high-end, with the exception of the brighteners and correctors. Those are a combination of both, but I love the way this looks. And that officially completes the powders and concealers. I am going to be donating a ton of makeup. If you guys have any other suggestions of places that are taking things that are or gently used, let me know, and even just new makeup as well, because there are a few new things in here. If you do enjoy the declutters, then make sure to stick around for more. Hit that subscribe button because I'm going to be doing another one before the year ends. I'm not too sure which category I'm going to do, but I think we only have a couple left. Honestly, if you missed it, I did almost every category in this beauty room. Thanks so much for watching, and I cannot wait to see you in my next one. Bye.